Hello everybody, it's JB here. I thought I'd do a bit of a video for 10-15 minutes reviewing the first week of the European Championships, which have been terrific. Just a one goalless draw in the first round of group games. It's been amazing to see, and of course we're into the second round of group matches at the moment. I'm recovering from a fantastic game played by the Italians last night. A terrific 3-0 result against Switzerland that myself and Russ Burning did for the commentary hub, and you'll have heard it right here as well on JB Sports, because we're taking the feed from the commentaries that they're providing this year. Saves me a lot of hassle. Also I want to review the first week, of course, in the first part, and then in the second part I want to look at Burnley's opening fixtures as well, because the fixture, as you well know, the fixtures came out yesterday, and obviously I'm going to try and pick out some important games as well. Of course, Leeds play Man United on the opening weekend, which is going to be some game as well, as Russ pointed out to me on when we were doing the commentary last night. But I want to have a look at Burnley's first 6 or 7 fixtures and see what points we could get from that, but that's to come later. But first, obviously, we've got the European Championships going on, and I thought, considering now it's nearly 1 week since the tournament started, it started again with Italy against Turkey. I think we're seeing plenty of good action. This obviously, of course, we'll get the horrible news about Christian Eriksen out the way. Obviously, well, what happened to Christian Eriksen? Obviously, he's recovering well, but my colleague Nicholas Jones did a fantastic job on that game. It was up until the end, until the actual scenes happened with Eriksen. I mean, I saw the match, and my view is obviously he just collapsed. But I didn't see anything wrong. I just thought he fainted or something, or the heat in some of the games so far this tournament has been exceptionally hot and humid, and I actually thought he just collapsed with exhaustion, or the heat had got to him or something, but it turned out he had a cardiac arrest, and that's a sad part of the tournament. I mean, that's the only one massive sad part, but thankfully Christian Eriksen is okay. He's still recovering well in hospital, but I have to say Russ and Nicholas, who were commentating for the Hub at the time and on this channel, did a magnificent job, and it couldn't have been easy. I mean, I did the Leicester helicopter crash 2 or 3 years ago, and it was the hardest thing I had to do, so I take my hat off to them both great broadcasters, of course, in their own right. As regards the football itself, we've only had the positive thing about the tournament as a whole, really, from a footballing point of view, has been the fact that we've only had one goalless draw in the entire match, in the entire week so far. I'm sure we'll get a couple more, of course. That will be a given, that is for sure. And that was the Spain match that ended goalless, which was quite something, really. You would expect it. Spain-Sweden, that was the one that finished 0-0. But we've seen some surprises. I mean, Slovakia beating Poland. I mean, Poland now, I covered them against Sweden. I covered them against Spain rather on Saturday, and that's a must-win for the Polish. And what you've got to also understand is that they're now under immense pressure to qualify. I mean, they were quarter-finalists not 5 years ago, and what everyone needs to understand is that this is not going to be easy for the Polish, and that's going to be tough. England and Scotland will touch on in a minute, but I want to obviously Italy have been superb. Let's concentrate on the groups first. So we'll start with Group A, and at the moment they are Italy are there. They've advanced in the knockout rounds. That's now been confirmed, and so too have Wales as well. So they're qualified. They're showed of a top 3 finish. So they do advance. They do short of a top 3 finish. Whether it'll be enough, 4 points should be enough for Wales. But a great result there in Baku last night. Excuse me, sorry about that. Hay fever time again. Yeah, great result last night in Baku. Ramsey and Roberts with the goals. Not that the second one was necessarily needed, but it was to make absolutely certain. So a great result there for Wales. A terrific result. I covered them in the opening match against Switzerland. I did. For whatever reason, I think they looked a bit jet-lagged because obviously they've had to fly the furthest east to Baku for the first 2 matches, and that's not helped. So there's probably been problems with acclimatisation, and they didn't look themselves, but they still got a point with keeper Moore. Italy, terrific performance. Insigne and Mobley starting the first game, and then last night when I covered them with Russ against the Swiss, they were absolutely superb. There were 12,000 in Rome last night. Felt like 90. It felt like 80,000 really. The roars that greeted the 3 Italian goals last night. Locatelli with a brace and Mobley getting his goal. I thought the second goal from Locatelli was absolute genius. A terrific goal. Switzerland they were good against Wales without being spectacular, and they were not even good or spectacular last night. And they had one chance. The substitute got through. And I think Donnarumma, out of 90, 95, 92, 93 minutes of football, I think had one honestly shot to save. So that was not too good for them. But Italy through, Wales should go through, and Switzerland now have to hope they get a 3 points against Turkey and hope they can qualify. But what a game that promises to be now on Sunday between Italy and Wales. Should be a cracker. And Switzerland, Turkey as well. Group B, obviously Finland winning that ill-fated game in Copenhagen 1-0, of course. And we won't really talk about that too much. We've already touched on what happened to Christian Eriksen. Belgium looking good. They won 3-0 in their first match against Russia. And Russia winning against Finland. Now that has really put Group B in a little wide open now, because 3 teams have got 3 points. That's Belgium, Russia, Finland. Of course, Denmark have got a difficult test in Copenhagen this evening when they play Belgium, and that's one of the games you can hear actually on JB Sports and the Commentary Hub a little bit later on with Nicholas Jones. And I've got to be honest. Denmark now really do need to pick up a point against the Belgians, but at the moment the Belgians are playing really well, and I can see them possibly winning. And I feel sorry for Denmark, but you've got to fancy Belgium on this one, that's for sure. Group C, 2 teams they've only played the one game. Austria beating North Macedonia 3-1. Great result, but they've had a bit of a blow because Marko Arnautovic, the former Stoke and West Ham man, has been suspended for 1 match. He misses the game today against the Dutch due to racist comments to Anglo-Ruski. But the Netherlands looking very good at the moment. Well, they weren't looking very good. The Ukraine gave them a bit of a fright, but they led 2-0 against the Ukraine, and then Yarmolenko and Yamachik got it back to 2-2, and then right at the end Dumfries scoring a late goal, and the Dutch just sneaking through. But they've just got, and no, Memphis Depay didn't score in the game because I wasn't commentating on it, and I don't think I've got any Dutch games so far in the opening rounds. But so maybe that's knocking Memphis Depay off his stride, I don't know, as Trevor Crowe points out. But good result there. Now the big one. This is the one that we're all talking about at the moment. England and Scotland. It's group. What a game. Group D. That is a definite group of death. England off to a decent start. Revenge for 3 years ago when we were knocked out of the semi-finals of the World Cup. Raheem Sterling with his first goal in tournament football. 57 minutes. with a superb goal. We weren't spectacular, but we were good enough, and I was quite. And I have to say, the performance as a whole was pleasing enough. That is for sure. As for Scotland, well, there was almost 10,000 in Hampden on Monday, and I've got to be honest, I thought they had chances. They had a lot of chances, just weren't clinical enough. Stick scoring before half time, and then in the second half he scored this fantastic goal from the halfway line, that shot which Russ described. And I think you'll have to go a long way in this championship to find a better goal than that. I think that's goal of the tournament for me. But what a game that's going to be on Friday now between England and Scotland. Of course, before that, Croatia against the Czech Republic. That's going to be another crucial game down in Glasgow, up at Glasgow, that is for sure. But at Wembley, it's England against Scotland, and that's the big one. I'll be hosting that one with Mike Arneman in the commentary box, and we've got Justin Hoyt, in fact, joining us that particular occasion. Group P, Poland and Slovakia I've touched on. Spain and Sweden 0-0. And at the moment, as things stand in terms of third place teams, Finland would be qualifying, Sweden would be qualifying as things stand. Switzerland obviously would be qualifying, and Ukraine, even though they've got no points. Germany and Croatia would be the two missing out, but there's still a long way to go yet. That is for sure. And of course, it's always a difficult one, that is for sure. But of course, we haven't mentioned the Portuguese or the French or the Germans, of course. Portugal left it late. Ronaldo with a brace. Guerrero getting the opener after 84 minutes. And France with an own goal from Mats Hummels beating the Germans. I don't know what's going on with the Germans at the moment. I don't know. They just don't look. I don't think they look that comfortable. I think Joachim Löw certainly lost his sparkle, but I'll tell you what, no, I think we've got some great games to come now in this next few days. I'm obviously hosting England, Scotland on Friday. Then I'm doing Spain against Poland on the Saturday night, and so I've got two interesting games to look forward to, and they should be crackers. But I think so far the European Championships have been tremendous to see and to enjoy. Right, let's move on now to Burnley, finally, and let me get the fixture list up there. We're just going to dissect the first 6 games. We haven't time in the video to dissect the whole 38 games, but what we're going to do for the last sort of 5 minutes is speculate how many points Burnley could get. But I just also want to make the point at this stage that this is all depending on what players we're going to get at the moment, and also all that sort of thing. But we start on the first 6 fixtures in August. On the 14th we've got Brighton at home. That's got to be winnable. Then we've got a tricky away trip to Anfield on the 21st of August. I can't see us winning, although we won last year, but the difference was there was no fans. There'll probably be more fans this time round, and then it's the Treble Sports derby between myself and Russ Burnham, and obviously Chris CW, because me and CW are both Burnley fans. Russ is of course a passionate Leeds supporter, and the Treble Sports, the real life Treble Sports derby takes place on the 28th. It's a Lancashire-Yorkshire affair between Leeds, and that's another game you think we could get 3 points from. Then in September we've got an away trip to Goodison Park to face Everton, who at the moment are currently managerless. A home match with Arsenal, which we could take something from, but as I said in commentary last night, it all depends on what players that everyone brings in, because we can't really tell what's winnable and what's not until all the squads have been recruited and bought and sold and whatever, and how well the teams integrate each other. And of course we've got the FA Cup winners Leicester away. Now, what I would hope to see from most of the 6 games, I'd like to see at least 7 points. That would be nice. 6, the bare minimum, but 7 would be nice. Would be nice if we could just pinch a point or 2 off the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Everton, and Leicester. That would be nice if we could just pinch points off them. But as I say, all depends on what transfer business gets done in the next few weeks. That is for sure, and I think that should be a given. Right. Anyway, that's just about it from me actually, because we've run out of time. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in, and don't forget to leave a like on the video, will you? Because we've obviously got a lot coming up for you in terms of the fixture list coming up. Let me just remind you what game we've got. 3 more games coming up on the Euros, and they will all be on JB Sports, incidentally. So let me just run through the three of them for you. So today we've got Ukraine against North Macedonia. That's at 2 o'clock, and your box in the box for that one will be Russ Burden. He'll also be presenting the match as well. And then at 5 o'clock, Nicholas Jones will be your man in the box. Russ will be presenting, and Nicholas Jones will be your match commentator with a bit of luck. Yep, it is Nicholas Jones. He'll be commentating. Russ will be presenting once again. And then finally, a very big game indeed involving the Dutch against the Austrians. No one out of HB suspension tonight, incidentally. And we've got Russ Burden again presenting. Matt Howes is your match commentator. And special guest, of course, Justin Hoyt, who was a big hit for Wales against Switzerland. He's back again tonight. So Justin Hoyt will be back on JB Sports and on the commentary hub again tonight. And he has been a bit of a hit, it's got to be said. But anyway, don't forget to leave a like, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button. Until then, I'll be back tomorrow on JB Sports for England against Scotland, hosting it with alongside Russ, Justin Hoyt, and of course Mike in the com box. So don't forget to join us all at 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Should be an absolute cracker, and I hope you enjoy it with us. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll be back on air tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. And 7:45 for an 8 o'clock kickoff. England against Scotland. Make a date. Bye.